On behalf of our center and our partners, the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Welcome to Event 201.
What is 2020? Why 2020? Does that mean we get it all done by 2020?
We need to do simulation, germ games, not war games.
I'm speaking to you from a CDC clean zone. Unprecedented threat requires a worldwide quarantine.
And there are problems emerging that can only be solved by global business and governments working together.
We're in a live exercise here.
Put Americans back where they belong, in dark rooms, glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
Are we out of money?
The best way to answer that is no, we are not out of money. Yet.
You need the money. So where's the money? So government kind of supplies our money.
ID 2020, this very big, ambitious effort. Why that matters, we're going to find out.
The sense is that digital identity is coming. It's not sort of a if, it's a when.
What about microchipping your child?
When that child is in the hands of a trusted caretaker, we can provide them with, sort of the early starting points for digital identity. That is something that...
So just link it to the immunization.
Yeah.
I'm talking about microchipping you.
But in order to make it work, there's some good old-fashioned coalition building and lots of other things that need to come together.
I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
Yeah. A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military. We need to do simulation, germ games, not war games. So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system.
Well, we work with influencers because we think that people trust their influencers more than they trust many other sources, including news sources, including governments, including ministries of health, and including their own families. So we're trying to tap into the people who have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers and trying to get them to spread the word.
I'd say get the Smith Corona clipper. That will be as satisfying a typing experience as you will ever have.
The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine. This is Tom Hanks saying, if you see me in person, please leave me be.
Turns out he's as good a typewriter salesman as he is an actor. I bought it.
I share the concern about how to maintain sustained interest, let alone a sense of urgency.
The internet and social media and the fact that there are fewer gatekeepers and that fewer institutions can play a gatekeeping function.
One thought I have is, to the point of, do we create a moment in time that we work toward?
Algorithms to sift through information on these kind of social media platforms.
Make sure that we have the right representatives on traditional media networks in order to portray our side of the story and make sure that there isn't misinformation.
Overwhelming amounts of dis and misinformation circulating over the internet. In some cases, limited internet shutdowns are being implemented to quell panic.
People are avoiding public spaces out of fear of infection and in compliance with public health recommendations. This has had a dramatic effect on the retail and service sectors.
In other words, I think states are going to want to be able to decide for themselves on, in some circumstances, some of the issues that are relevant. So one of the challenges will be ensuring that you're using an existing mechanism, and I think Sophia's right about the UN as being sort of the base of operations in a sense, both for the funding but also for a whole series of other issues that you would be looking at for allocation, coordination, et cetera.
Governments will need to partner with traditional and social media in order to research and develop nimble approaches to countering misinformation. For their part, media companies, we believe, should commit to ensuring that authoritative messages are prioritized and really false messages are suppressed.
I think it's too bad in a way that we had to have these epidemics to get us to move, but these are investments that should be made. I think this is a very positive step.
And that this individual has a presumptive positive.
Presumptive positive.
And we have not received the confirmation. Presumptive case.
Nothing has been confirmed. Presumptive positive. We have a second presumptive positive.
Presumptive positive.
Presumptive positive.
2 presumptive positive cases.
Presumed positive.
Presumptive positive.
Presumptive positive.
We received confirmation of 2 presumed
and I emphasize the word presumed positive cases.
We are acting on all presumptive positive cases as if they were confirmed. We are acting.
Now I'm saying presumed positive for a reason, and so we're presuming positive.
Do we put an ankle bracelet on them? We do it for criminals to make sure they don't leave. They track their mobile signal to make sure that they're staying at home.
That's an option that we are looking at. I've already had preliminary discussions about monitoring people's mobile phones, and if they don't, we've now got obviously the Crime Stoppers network to have individuals be reported.
The Israeli government is using a controversial cell phone tracking tool.
It will be used on Israel's civilian population to track coronavirus patients and see who they've been near. But some of this is already going forward. In fact, according to the Ministry of Health, already 400 people have gotten notifications through the usage of this tool that they were near a coronavirus patient and now must go into self-quarantine.
We're talking about misinformation and disinformation almost as an infovirus infecting and spreading among a community.
Certainly, those of us in the public health community use the media to get out the messages, the public health messages. So they were really important on sort of, as you said, sort of putting a cone around the misinformation.
And third, by helping people become more news literate. We've seen that it seems to act almost as an inoculation, helping people resist misinformation better.
Yeah.
Now, as health officials scramble to prevent the spread, they're warning about what they call an infodemic, confusing information spreading faster than the virus itself.
From epidemic to infodemic.
That's right, Ken. You know, this is a huge task that the World Health Organization is taking on to basically cleanse the internet.
Infodemic. He said the WHO has been fighting everything from false posts that blame bat soup for the spread of the virus to overly alarming and factually incorrect YouTube videos.
Dangerous outbreak that some are calling an infodemic.
He said Silicon Valley has been very receptive.
We can't do it alone. We do need them. We have the credible content and they have the reach. And together we can actually fight this infodemic.
While navigating what the World Health Organization refers to as an infodemic in the midst of the global spread of the novel coronavirus, we must all turn to facts first.
And put in place processes to allow us to take this information down very quickly.
Americans are facing a new normal, one that may include losing their jobs, losing their income, and even losing their health insurance.
This is an extraordinary time where we have to accept a new normal.
The new normal. This is our new normal, I guess.
Coming to terms with their new normal.
Certainly a new normal.
And I think what you're going to see is a new normal.
Adapt to this new normal.
As we wake up to a new normal today and life is slowly grinding to a halt.
Getting used to the new normal.
Getting ready for the next new normal.
Now we can see a new world coming into view.
One of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance and global agreements.
A new world order about a defining moment in history.
Novus Order Seclorum, a new order for the centuries, for the ages, forever.
The kind of global governance that is necessary
is to actually create a new world order, because the global order is changing again.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Playing roles, taking the work that all of us have been doing and are promising to be taking it, I think, well beyond the next 25 years.
You have to act your way into a new way of thinking. We can't continue to fund things this way and expect that we create a solution that is more useful for individuals. How do we enable, sort of the greatest profits or the greatest control?
A lot of the steps are sitting there ready. The factory piece, understanding the regulatory piece, and you just have to plug in some information, do some quick safety profiles, and then you can get into manufacturing quite rapidly.
And, very similar, some straightforward, some not so straightforward tactics.
They're buying it. They're buying it.
So that'll collect all citizens into this one database. A financial ID of every citizen. Whether we can assign that at birth, we don't know, but we'd like to do that.
This, I'm told, is the word crisis in Chinese. I've also been told that the characters individually represent danger and opportunity. And there is increasing urgency at many levels to address this crisis quickly and by harnessing the power of information technology to address it digitally.
The beginning of a digital identity system where consumers can assert their identity by relying on their bank. And so over time, we expect government agencies will join.
Needs to trust the institution who issues that identity.
I think today, probably not. You know, if things get worse in the future, maybe. You know, I mean, maybe something will happen that causes driving a new identity where you can get a mass consumer market and then get a standard which is really widely adopted. I think there may be a government use case that could drive some adoption.
Why that matters, we're going to find out.
The sense is that digital identity is coming. It's not sort of a if, it's a when.
What about microchipping your child?
When that child is in the hands of a trusted caretaker, we can provide them with, you know, sort of the early starting points for digital identity. That is something that...
So just link it to the immunization.
Yeah.
I'm talking about microchipping you.
But in order to make it work, there's some good old-fashioned coalition building and lots of other things that need to come together.
We need to do simulation, germ games, not war games.
Forget the conspiracy. Listen to our government agencies. These guys are telling the truth. You know, there's no conspiracy here, folks. Just get your damn vaccine.